Today, this conversation is going to be about the three types of new investors. New investors, right? People that are brand new to investing or haven't been investing very long. I want to have a conversation with you. I think I got you right here on this camera. So I want to talk about, guys, and as you come in here, do me a favor, smash the like button below for me. I want to have a conversation about the three types of new investors that are out there, all right, that are out there in investing land. And two of these types of investors, they lose money. Matter of fact, they're losing money right now as we speak. So well, let's break it down. First of all, as you come in, guys, again, hit the thumbs up button for me and we can go from there. But I want you also to tell me, out of these three, which one do you think you are? Like, how do you identify yourself in this whole thing of investing? We're talking about investing, whether it's primarily stock market, but also we're talking about the other stuff you invest in, right? The crypto, the gold, the commodities, the art, whatever, the cars, the real estate, all that, right? Where do you fall in the category of these three types of new investors that are out there, right? So let me just give you what the three are up front. The three are this. Hey, how you doing? Good to have you. Good evening, smart. Whoever you were, I just missed it. Just went off the screen. But good evening to you guys. As you come in, hit the thumbs up button for me. Welcome to the live. Just going to have a conversation tonight about these three, because here's why I'm having the conversation. I keep doing these one-on-ones with people that fall in this area, these three areas. A lot of them are brand new investors, and a lot of them either go really far this way or they go really far that way. And a lot of them are not right in the middle where they should be, right? So let me just give you what the three are, okay? And I took a few notes here, so I'll look here and I'll look here, but don't worry about all that. The first type of a new investor that's out there is the person who diversifies too much, right? They got stuff all over the place. They doing this and they doing that, and they dabbling in this and dabbling in that, and they got stuff all over the place, and they just doing all different types of things. They diversify, but they're too diversified, right? Too much going on. Now, the second type of person, I'm gonna dig into each one of these, but the second type of person, I just want to give them to you up front. The second type of new investor is the person that doesn't diversify at all, is scared to diversify, been holding on to this one stock for 30 years, and they don't really want to let go of this one stock. They got $200,000 and $300,000 and $400,000 all wrapped up into this one stock. That's a big problem. So there's the people that diversify too much and the people that don't diversify at all. Both of those two extremes are leaving money on the table. Both of those two extremes are upping their chances of going broke, right? Now, then you got that third new investor that has a really good balance and have struck the right balance between the two and is right there in the middle, building wealth, building wealth, building wealth, right? So I just want to start the live stream off with just letting you know what are these three types of new investors that I see a lot and I talk to a lot, right? You know, two of them, they take the word diversification to a whole nother level, either extreme or don't do it at all, right? So I want to have a conversation about those three different types, and let me know in the chat or let me know in the comment section if you're watching this on replay, which one are you? Like, where do you fall in line, right? Somebody said, boom, boom, boom. Good evening, smart money, bro. Good to have you. The cookie. Hey, from Mexico. Let me know where you guys are checking in from. Somebody's checking in from Olathe, Kansas. Fantastic. Good to have you in Olathe. Let's see. Somebody else is checking in. Let me know where you're checking in from. What city, what state, what county, what country, what hemisphere, what continent, right? Where are you checking in from? Let me know as you come in, guys. And if you can hear me okay, I appreciate you being here. Somebody's checking in from New Zealand. Woo, you way out there. That's a long way from here. Mrs. Moore is in the house. Man, that made me smile, Mrs. Moore. If you can handle the chat for me, Mrs. Moore, I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. You know, I haven't gone live too often, but I said it's a Friday night. It's beautiful weather. I'm outside. Let's have a conversation. So glad you're here, Mrs. Moore. Let's see here. Somebody's in Boston, Massachusetts. Good to have you here. Somebody's from Strong Island, New York, which is what, Public Enemy used to call it, Strong Island instead of Long Island. Good to have you here. Ohio, the Ohio State is in the house. Austin, Texas. Good to have you. Brownsville, right on the border. Good to have you here. Somebody's from the North Pole. Okay, cool. UK, Orlando. Here's what you know. California, Texas. We got them from all over the country right here in the chat. So good to have you here. Yes, please smash that like button for me. Orlando, Florida's in here. It's beautiful down there. Nottingham in the UK. Awesome. Good to have you here. Canada's in the house. Laurel, Maryland. I'm sorry. Merlin is in the house. Ontario, Canada's here. Good to have you. So let's jump into it. The new investor. Let's first talk about the new investor who refuses to diversify their portfolio. They got all of their investments wrapped up into Nvidia and Tesla, or all of their investments wrapped up into Amazon only, right? They went ahead and pushed all their chips into the middle of the table and they put it all on one or two stocks. This is the person who, let me know if this is you, the person who would rather gamble and speculate off one stock than diversify and have various things going on, right? Not diversified at all. Here's the problem with, let me just dig into that a little bit. The problem with no diversification, right? The problems are many, right? But the stock market can be volatile. We know it can be volatile. If there's a market crash like it was in 2008, or what we experienced, some of us in the 90s, or some of us experienced in 2020, your portfolio could lose 30 to 40% of its value in a day or two. It could lose a ton of its value fast, right? And no matter how safe you feel with this one investment that you've had for years and years and years, when you do that, you're at the mercy of Wall Street. And the last thing or entity you want to be at the mercy of is Wall Street, right? If you needed to somehow cash out during a downturn and have to sell all your shares you don't want that smoke, right? You're talking about locking in huge losses. If you have an emergency that costs you $10,000 and you only got $20,000 all put into one or two stocks, listen, it's a problem to not be diversified at all. It's a big problem. And I know you guys are saying, well, that's obvious. Duh, we know that. You'd be shocked at how many people know it but don't practice it, right? They know they shouldn't have all their money into two stocks, a lot of company stock that they got, but they do it anyway, all right? So, I mean, think about it. You have $500,000. I talked to somebody like this. They had $500,000 in one stock, and the market went down, and they lost like $150,000 or something. Now you got to wait years for that thing to recover, right? One bad event, and your single asset or your single asset class, whatever it could be, right? You're done. I mean, you're done. I mean, you could lose much of your portfolio, just get wiped out just like that, right? You got no flexibility. You have no options. When life changes or something hits the fan, right? You need cash for medical bills. You need cash for retirement. You need cash for, let's talk about retirement. You got all your stuff into one stock or whatever in retirement. It goes bad. What happens? You're 75 years old and you don't have time for it to recover over the next 10 years. You may not to mention this, when you have all of your money in one or two stocks or one or two asset classes or one or two places or one place, you're limiting the growth, right? You're limiting the growth. See, different assets strive under different economic conditions. Let's think back to 2022 for a second. I'm going to take you back a few years. If you remember in 2022, the S&P 500 for the year of 2022 was a negative 18%. I think it was negative 18, 19%. The same year in 2022, you had real estate doing well. Like I remember 2022, I lost $100,000, $125,000, or maybe a little more than that. But in real estate, my real estate said boom, 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 boom. So I had stocks and I had real estate. I had ETFs, index funds, and I had real estate, right? Because real estate was thriving when the stock market was down. And sometimes, this doesn't happen all the time, but sometimes when the stock market is up, real estate can be stagnant or a little bit down as well. So it doesn't go down, 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 but it could be stagnant, staying still. So you have to understand that you want some diversity, right? Some diversification is good. Now we're going to talk about going overboard, but some is certainly good. Let me hit this little button here. There it is. Let's see here. Somebody said, that's why I invest in fixed income investments, FDI insured, use whatever extra to invest in the stock market. Depending on your age, Jojo, you might be 75 years old. Cool, if that's what you want to do. What I suggest people do is as they get older and closer to retirement and into retirement and want to start using the money, take a chunk of your money and put it over in something more safer like a fixed income. It could be bonds, could be cash, could be maybe not cash, but bonds or a high yield savings account or something similar, right? So that you can get to the money quick. And when the market is down and tanking, instead of taking from those shares that's down and tanking, you take from the shares, from the money that's in those fixed incomes like bonds and CDs and money market accounts and high yield savings accounts. You pull from that when the market is down so you don't have to sell your shares when they're low. You let that stuff in the market just go down and up and don't worry about it. And you're over here pulling from your fixed income when you're older. It's just a strategy to help some folks out, Jojo. Let's see. Somebody said real estate is a tough game right now. Real estate is always a tough game, to be honest with you, because there's a lot of risk in real estate, right? Because you're risking more money, right? You're not just putting $200 in the stock market. You're putting $30,000 towards a down payment, or you're buying something and putting $80,000 down, or you're buying it outright at $150,000 down when you're talking about real estate. So real estate is always a little more, it feels more risky to the average human being, right? Let's see here. Somebody says, can you give your opinion why the most Americans are drinking the government Kool-Aid? You got to explain that a little better, Todd. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Be more specific. You got to be, I'm always the type of person to say, you want a specific answer? Give me a specific question. All right, so let me see. Somebody says, let's see what else we're talking about here. So we're talking about the first person, the person that has thrown all their money into one or two things. Remember when NVIDIA was hot a year ago? Boom, boom, boom. Everybody's NVIDIA. I was running into a lot of people who was investing in the stock market and only had all their money in NVIDIA. Big problem, huge problem. Never want to do it. That's almost like speculation, right? The key is this. For this person who has everything all in one or two stocks, right? My plea to you is to build wide. Not too wide. We're going to get to that in a second, but build wide. Don't just build tall, but build wide as well when you're building your wealth or building your portfolio or building up your investments. Don't just stack everything on the stack called Amazon stock. Don't just stack everything on the stack that says NVIDIA and stack NVIDIA real high, right? 500 shares of NVIDIA and you ain't got no ETFs, no index funds, nothing else. You just got 500 shares of NVIDIA. Don't stack tall only. The goal is to stack a little bit here, but stack out here too. This is This is your diversification out here. This is putting it all on one, right? So, we'll talk about the third person who gets it right and how to do this thing in a balanced way in just a little bit. Okay. So now let's talk about the second person. Now, the second person is the person, and remember, let me know who you are down here. Let me just run back over here. NVIDIA made me a lot of money. I ain't mad at you on NVIDIA. Let's see here, the market. Alvira's in the house. Good to have you here. I'm back. Let's see. Hey, Atlanta's in the house. Breezy Bree. Breezy Bree? Okay, good name. Let's talk about the person, the new investor who has 30 different ETFs, right? 50 different individual stocks, probably got 5 or 6 different precious metals, right? They're in gold, they're in silver, they're in bauxite, right? They got 16 different cryptos over on Coinbase somewhere, right? They got a bunch of crypto, they got a bunch of individual stocks, got a bunch of ETFs, got a whole bunch of index funds, got a savings, got 19 different savings accounts, right? They got got $3,000 over here in this savings account, $4,000 over here, got their emergency fund over here with $10,000. They got a couple other. Listen, I talk to people like that all the time, guys. This is the new investor that takes diversification to a whole nother level, right? And they just really have, honestly, too much diversification. They own the VOO, they got the VTI, they got the QQQ, got the JPEQ, got the SCHD, they got the BYM and the SCHD, right? Listen, then they got 18 different tech stocks, right? They got tech stocks all. Listen, the problem with this new investor that does this is, one, you're overlapping everything, right? You're overlapping all over the place, right? You got SCHD and you got VYM, and you got VTI and you got VOO. And it's like VTI and VOO, if you look at their performance, it's basically the exact same thing over the last 30 years, 20, 30 years. So why do you have both? You don't need a whole bunch of VTI and a whole bunch of VOO. It's like overlapping, it's overkill, right? That's the first problem with over diversification, right? And then you start to spread your money, you start to spread things a little too thin. So remember earlier I was talking about you want to build up a little bit, but you want to build out. But you don't want to build way out and have too much of everything, or have a little bit of a lot of different things. It's like putting a drop of hot sauce in a swimming pool, right? It loses its impact, right? Ultimately, your returns, they start to average out, or worse, they start to underperform, right? Nobody wants underperforming assets, right? When you have all this stuff, what you're doing is you're creating a bunch of chaos, right? It's hard to monitor performance or to monitor how stocks are doing when you own 50 different stocks. It's hard to keep up with the earnings report and the 10Qs and 10Ks from everybody, right? It's hard to rebalance. It's hard to even understand what's driving your returns when you got so much of everything all over the place and you really don't need that much. Right? It's hard to make smart, informed decisions when you got 40 different things going on at once. It happens. I'm telling you, it's hard to keep up. It's hard to do your research, right? You lose focus, right? So the question here becomes this: I want you to diversify, but you got to figure out, who are you in investing? Who are you? That's a serious question when it comes to investing, because are you Jim Cramer? Is it Jim Cramer? Are you Cramer? Are you Dave Ramsey? Are you name the next person? Are you Warren Buffett? Are you Bill Ackerman? Right? Who are you? The thing that happens is when you have so much going on is a lot of people, they haven't really defined who they are in the investing space. So they just pull a lot of everything, right? Are you a defensive? Do you like value stocks? Do you want growth? Do you want a little bit of both? Do you like the tech sector? Do you have to come up with a clear plan. And what happens when you don't have a clear plan is you just start grasping for straws, picking everything, right? It's kind of like, when it's a Friday night and you got to figure out what you want to eat, and it's like 19 different restaurants sitting in front of you, and you say, man, I'm gonna stop and get that, then I'm gonna stop over here and get that, then I want to go over here and get that candy bar, then I'm gonna grab my dessert from over here, and I want to get that sandwich, but I really want that spaghetti over there, I want that pasta from that, they got better pasta. And you it's so much that, by the time you figure this thing out, it's like, okay, you kind of watered everything down. Let me see here. Somebody said, try to keep to the basic essentials like Walmart. Let's see. I've given up on hating the tech sector. It's coming. Boom, boom, boom. I like the chat. Keep the chat going, guys. Listen, no clear plan, just a bunch of scattered pieces everywhere. And I see this a lot. I see this more than I see the other extreme of people who only have one stock. I see people that do too much. Here's the problem. Let me just break it down to you. People think, especially new investors, they think that the more different stuff they have, the better off they are, or the smarter they are. Just because you have a lot of different investments don't mean you're making a lot of progress with investing, right? It doesn't. You have a lot of different stuff. It don't mean you got a lot of money. It don't mean you doing things better because you have more stuff, right? Don't get in the habit of thinking more equals better. Now, I'm not saying, again, I want you to diversify, but some of this is out of hand, right? It's chaotic. This is the second type of investor is the type of investor who will jump in and out of the market, try to time the market, think that they have a lot of stuff and having a lot of different stuff makes them smarter than the next investor. Or they're new to investing and they think the more different types of accounts I have, the more different types of stocks I have, I'm being wise by doing that because somebody said diversify. Yes, we want you to diversify. We don't want you going crazy with it. There's a big difference, huge difference, right? So let's get to, that's the second type of investor. Remember, there's three, and two of them have a greater chance of going broke. And I just mentioned them, the ones who don't diversify and the ones who diversify way, way, way too much and got too much going on. And thinking the more I got going on, the more savvy I am. No. The more complicated you are with your investing does not mean the more money you're going to get or the better investor you are. It doesn't mean that. Keep it simple. This is the third investor. The third type of investor is the new investor that's going to make more money than the other two, right? Because they got a more smarter, balanced approach, right? Balance is the key. This is why you have to learn you in this investing game. You got to know who you are. Because if you know who you are, you know that enough is enough. If you know who you are, you know what? I got VTI. I don't need VOO. I'm good on VTI, right? I got, JPEQ. I don't need necessarily, listen, I got the S&P 500 in VOO. I don't have to really go out and get QQQ because I got VOO. I don't need to do all that. I'm good. I'm straight. I'm comfortable in my own skin with my own investing techniques and strategy. I'm good. That's the third person. That's the person who has a smarter approach to this whole thing, right? So this third person, they might have a few core ETFs, broad-based ETFs. They might choose one, right? They choose a VTI or a VOO instead of both, right? And so there's not much overlap. This is the third person, is the person who says, you know what? I'm going to break up my allocation. See, the third person is the one who's thinking about allocations, not just thinking about accumulating a whole bunch of stocks because I saw them on TV and I read some really cool articles about them. But the third person is the person who understands who they are in this investment game, understand their core beliefs. The third person also understands what their own philosophy is. They're not working on some guru's philosophy that they saw on YouTube. They got their own philosophy. And they also have their own mission and goals when it comes to investing. They got their own strategy and they're comfortable in their own skin. Anybody, I don't know if we got any say basketball fans out there. I'm a big basketball fan, right? So I used to coach basketball for a lot of years. So there's some of the greatest players you ever see that play basketball. They are the players who you can't rush them. You can't speed them up. They go at their own pace no matter what's going on. I don't care if it's 30 seconds to go in a tie ball game. This basketball player, the great ones, right? You can't speed them up. They go at their own pace. They get to their spots when they want to get to their spots. And they know how to take their own time. and do things in their own pace. But it's that person that is not a great who gets rushed and gets flustered and gets emotional. And when their heart start beating, they don't know what to do when it gets tight and it's 30 seconds to go and they get rushed. And I can rush them. If I'm playing defense, I can rush them because I can jump over here and they get rushed. But the great ones, and I'm talking about basketball, but I'm also talking about investing. The great ones, the good ones, the solid ones, the ones that make the most money, you can't rush them. You can't get them flustered. They don't get all excited about NVIDIA. They don't get all excited. They don't need a whole bunch of investments. They got their 4 or 5 ETFs. They got their 7, 8, 10, 15, 20 stocks, and they're good. They're straight. Can't speed them up, right? That was a weird analogy, but I hope you guys, did you guys catch that analogy a little bit? So that's what you want to be in terms of being this third investor, not the person that's scared to diversify or the person that's scared not to diversify. So they do too much. You got to find your balance, right? Do you want to go value ETFs or growth ETFs? Do you want to go large cap stocks, small cap stocks, mid cap stocks? Do you want to have, here's what they do. Here's what I would do. Here's what I do. I go growth ETFs and value ETFs. I got a little bit of both, not much, but I kind of combine that with having some small cap and some large cap. I like to have a big, broad ETF that covers a big range, like a VTI or a VOO. And then I also like to have a little small cap, a little large cap, and maybe a mid cap. But I also like to look at value and growth and try to get those within my small and mid and large caps in terms of ETFs, right? I like to have a little bond fund in there as well so that 5 or 10% of my money is hitting the bond market as well, ETF. And then I like to have one or two ETFs that are sector specific, right? So I like sector specific because these are things that I understand and know about. You don't have to do it this way. I'm telling you how a balanced portfolio looks like, right? So when I say sector specific for new investors, I'm talking about maybe you have an ETF or index fund or even stocks that are in the industrial sector, maybe in the healthcare sector, maybe in the transportation sector. I'm giving you the different sectors and you can choose, right? You don't have to have one in each. Maybe you have an ETF in the financial services sector, right? That has mostly in the bucket of ETFs or index funds, mostly financial companies, the JP Morgans, the Visa, MasterCard, whatever it could be, right? Your choice, right? So that's a balanced approach. The thing that a lot of new people don't do is they don't understand the idea of allocation, right? Diversification, but allocation. How do you allocate your portfolio? How much a percentage do you want in growth? How much a percentage do you want to have in tech? How much a percentage do you want to have in industrials? How much percentage of your overall portfolio do you want to have in a broad ETF or index fund, right? That's the part that is missing for all the two extremes. The person that doesn't want to diversify and the person that really diversifies way too much. Just having certain allocations is huge. Let's see, somebody said, boom, boom, boom. Somebody's giving me the definition of an ETF. I'm not mad at you, right? Somebody says it's easy to invest when you have active income, right? I get that. That's true. My strategy is to protect the principal, stacking profits slow. I like that. Somebody says I got 4 or 5 ETFs in my individual, got about 15 individual stocks, it looks like. Listen, this is what you got to be thinking if you want to be a balanced investor. Now, when I say balanced, again, not too extreme one way or the other. The thing about investing is you got to keep this thing simple. Don't let activity fool you. Okay? It's not about the amount of activity you do that wins this game called investing. And some new investors get caught up in the idea that if they're not doing something with their money or with their investments, it's not really growing. Or if they're not doing something, actively doing something on a regular basis, they're not really investing. They don't feel productive about it. But look, it's not the amount of activity that you do in this game of investing. or that wins this financial race, whatever you want to call it. You need to let time, patience, and compound interest win the race for you. Time, compound interest, and patience. Let those things do the heavy lifting for you. You don't have to do the heavy lifting when it comes to investing. Sure, you do your research and you keep up with what's going on, but you let compound interest do what compound interest do, right? You just kick back and be patient, and you let time do what time is going to do, because time is going to take care of everything, right? Time is going to not take care of everything, but it's going to do a lot of the work for you. It's going to do the heavy lifting for you, right? Be balanced, be measured, be patient, be disciplined, be emotionless. The faster, the greater your ability to get emotions out of investing, the better off you'll be, right? Have diversification, but don't go overboard, right? You don't want to, going back to a sport. I like baseball, but I also like, I like basketball, but I like baseball too. But have you ever been watching a sporting event? I don't care if it's soccer, hockey, whatever you watch, right? And you look at the coach and the moves the coach is making, and it's like the coach is overcoaching. Like, you don't have to overcoach. Like, relax. You know, the zone defense that you was playing was working. Why are you switching it up to man all of a sudden and not going back to the zone that was working? You know, this player was pitching pretty doggone good, but just because you think that you don't want to, you take him out in the fifth inning and he's got a no-hitter going, or he's got a one-hit ball game going, and we're in the sixth and seventh inning, and you take him out because you think you want to preserve his arm. Look, stop overcoaching your money. Stop overcoaching your investments. Stop doing too much. You don't have to do that much. Listen, you made a great decision on what you found when you was doing your research. Stick with it. It's going to go down a little bit, go up. Go down a little bit, go up. It's going to go up over the course of 5 to 10 years more than it's going to go down. Most stocks will do that. Most ETFs will do that. That's a fact. I hope I'm giving you guys some good information. If you're a new investor, if you know somebody, listen, you got to do me this favor. Hit the like button at least for me. You're in here getting some jewels, hit the like button for me. Also, share this video ultimately with somebody who you know, and 15, 20 minutes when we get out of here, share the video with somebody you know. But listen, let me say this too, because I haven't said this. I did something recently that I haven't done before. If you've followed this channel for any length of time, you know me, that I'm not a big app guy. I'm not a big app guy at all, right? When it comes to investing. But I wanted to try a new app, guys. I wanted to try a new app. And I tried it. And guess what? I like it. I was surprised. I like the app. And I said, I don't have a lot of channel partners that I partner with. But I said, you know what? A lot of people who watch this channel are just getting started in investing. And I've been using a new app. So I want to extend the new app to you, right? So the new app I've been using is called Moo. And I know some of you have heard of Moo. It's not a new app, but it's an app that it's very, very user friendly. I mean, when I'm sitting there looking, it's a great app. And I was pleasantly surprised with it. So this video is really sponsored by Moo, right? Super easy, user friendly investing app that I was shocked by. And I normally don't endorse or have a video sponsored by app. So on this app, they give you the live market data. They give you easy to read charts. They give you all the news, and it is boom, click the news. What's going on with my latest stock? Very nice. Shockingly surprised. So I started using them, invested some money in them at the Moo, started using them, and I like it. I really like it, believe it or not. So if you get a chance or you want, there's going to be a link below here it's going to be a Moo link. Click on that link, check it out for yourself. If you don't use an app or you're thinking about switching apps, pretty solid. But now the beauty is up until I think July 31st, new users can get up to 60 free stocks. So check that out. If you invest a certain amount of money, now you got to put a certain amount of money in with Moomoo to get up to 60, but that's a nice little deal they got going on right now through July 31st. So check it out. I actually tried it and I like it. So I wanted to pass that on to you. I don't have a whole bunch of sponsors or brand names or people that I talk about on this channel, but I like Moomoo. So check that out. I've been using it and I wanted to at least pass it on to you guys. It'll be a link in the description box below. Click on that link and check it out. Let me see what we got in the chat here, guys. Give me a second. Let me see what we got in the chat real quick. If you got a question or something, man, look, you can always drop that question in the comment section once this video goes live, and I will definitely get to it. I try to get to all of them. I haven't done a lot of lives lately, but I think I'm gonna jump back in and do some, guys. Somebody said Robinhood is a good one. That's cool. Let's see. Thank you for sending the videos out and sharing the videos. I appreciate it. Let's see here. Moomoo. Yeah, I don't know what Moomoo's gonna pay me. Good question. I don't know. I just thought I'd go ahead and jump on them, and I started using them. I said, hey, I need to use this before I talk about it on my channel. So I said, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and use it. And I don't use a bunch of apps. I really don't. Let's see, how's it go? Willie Wilo's in the house. Good to have you here. Haven't seen you in a while, Willie Wilo. Let's see here. Yeah, I appreciate you being here. I used to come on and do these lives a whole lot, all the time, 3 or 4 times a week, and I haven't really done them very much because I've been big. Somebody said the stock market is rigged. Nah, I don't believe it. I don't believe it's rigged. Somebody said I'm talking about the Indiana Pacers, huh? What about buying dividends and reinvesting them over and over and over again? I reinvest all of my dividend, any dividends I get from my individual stocks or my ETFs, I always reinvest dividends. Why? Because I want the compounding effect of my dividends. I don't need the money right now. I'd rather have the compounding effect over the years. Let's see here. Somebody said, what do I suggest for beginners who are very short on time? In terms of investing, I suggest ETFs and index funds. Because if you don't have the time to research stocks and do real thorough research over stocks, don't get into individual stocks. Let's see here. Okay, how much is Moomoo? Okay, we got that already. Let me just go over here and check out the deal over here. Give me a second here, guys, and figure out how this chat works on my laptop real quick. I think I got my laptop up real quick. Bear with me, guys. Bear with me. Let me see. What are the 2 top things you like about the new app? I like the interface. I was really surprised about the interface. I said, what is this Moomoo all about? And I looked at the interface. I said, easy to read. Well, now listen, I'm gonna be honest with you, okay? I got account at Vanguard. I got an account at Schwab. And Schwab, to me, Schwab has a better interface on your mobile than Vanguard does. Vanguard is kind of stiff. I like Vanguard. Don't get me wrong. I've been been at Vanguard for many, many years, but Schwab has a great mobile interface. But this doggone Moomoo, I mean, I'm not just bumping my gums. I mean, I'm like, okay, this is pretty neat. This is pretty cool. Okay, I like, boom, how they put I just like the interface. I think the interface was super duper sharp. So that's why I said, you know what? Let me go ahead and share this, because for me, guys, when I come across something that I think is good and I think is viable and usable, look, I have brands pitching me, and you can ask any YouTuber, and most of them will tell you this, right? I have brands pitching me so much stuff every single day. If I turned my camera around and showed you this, you would be like, dang, I got people pitching me for, you name it, all different types of apps that have nothing to do with money. You know, I have people pitching me about chairs to use, stuff to put behind me, all different types of apps that have nothing to do with money at all. And I don't take any of them. I really, frankly, I don't, just to be honest with you, because if you go back to these videos, I did Mint Mobile. I talked to Mint Mobile. I did some Mint Mobile stuff before, but that was about it. I just don't get into because I don't use them. I don't like to push things that I don't use, because I think that's unfair to my audience. I don't think it's appropriate to just go in and just say, okay, I'm going to talk about something just to get a brand deal and get a bunch of money. Nah, no need to do that, right? I make a lot of money doing other things. But for Moo, I said, let's give it a shot because I want to start doing some stuff on my mobile more. So lo and behold, it was nice. So I said, let's go for it. And I just dropped the link into the description, guys. You'll see it in the description. But consider it. Just something to think about. I'm not here to push and pitch and no, but if you're looking for one to use, it has really good interface. I was really shocked about it. Let's see here. Somebody said, you have me moving my money differently and looking at my financial future in a new way. I'm 36. Alvin, it's Alvin. If you're 36, man, you got the world ahead of you. You can really do some damage when it comes to this money thing at 36 years old. You got the most important asset on your side, which is time. Nothing beats time, man. If the more time you have, the more you can build wealth. If you're 36, you ought to have $10 million by the time you're 56. Guarantee you if you do it right. Let's see. Somebody says, what are your thoughts about using a brokerage line of credit to purchase real estate to use as rental properties? No, and no. I don't like using my brokerage account for lines of credit. Nah, I don't like that. I don't mind you purchasing rental properties at all, right? Putting 10, 15, 20, 25% down and purchasing rental properties. You want to do that, right? I've owned rental properties, me personally. I've owned rental properties since the year 2000 for 27 years. I'm a big fan of real estate, huge fan of real estate, right? But I don't want to dig into my brokerage money to go buy my real estate. I'd rather just save up money, build up money, et cetera, to go buy my real estate or leverage as much as I can to buy real estate. Let me see what else we got in the chat. I'm trying to bring the chat up right here, but it didn't like it kind of came up on here. So we're just chatting away, guys. Look, it's an evening, and we're having a conversation. What is it? A Friday evening. The only thing I got to do is walk. Health is wealth, right? I just wanted to really have the conversation because I keep running into people, these three types of new investors, people that haven't been investing very long, and I'm saying, wow, if you keep doing what you're doing, you may go broke doing what you're doing, right? Or you're running a lot of risk by doing what you're doing. Or if you spread yourself out too thin, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. Somebody said, I'm divorced, have 3 young kids that live with me, but no help financially. I know it's gonna be hard for you. I totally understand it. Let's see, I will work till the day I die, be checking receipts at Walmart. I ain't mad at you. You're welcome, Alvin. You got it, man. You can do this thing. Let's see. Great content. Wayne, appreciate you, Wayne. Guys, you know what? I just went over 500,000 subscribers on this channel. I'm not a big celebration type of guy, right? I'm a very, very low key, basic type person. And I didn't have a celebration. And maybe I should have, but I didn't. But I want to send just a shout out to you guys who support the channel and support me on the channel and support our Patreon group that we have. And that says, I wouldn't be here without you guys. I appreciate you more than you know. This journey has been a quick ride to where I'm at. In January of 2023, I had 5,000 subscribers and I got my first YouTube check, January of 2023. Listen, if you're interested in knowing how to build a YouTube channel and build it quick, hit me up. I'm going to put a link in the description box below as well that gives you an opportunity to say, how can I have a one-on-one with this dude so this dude can actually help me grow my YouTube channel, give me listen, everybody's personal financial situation is different. Everybody's different. I don't care. Me and the person right next to me, we're going to be totally different on what we want, what we think, our risk tolerance, how we want to invest, where we are in our lives, how much money we have, how much money we want. Everything is different. So a lot of times we have to, what we call bespoke your personal financial plan to fit you, right? Just like when you go to get a suit tailored, arms don't fit right, something's too long, and you got to have it bespoke to fit you. Your personal financial situation is the exact same way. You watch these gurus, I call them gurus, but these financial Susie Ormans and people, they're giving out basic general advice, right? But if you want personal advice, that's different. And what I do is I offer one-on-one personal financial mentoring and coaching to help people on an individual level. You can also join the Patreon, the VIP on Patreon for that as well. But sometimes you just need some personal advice. Everything I say is not going to fit everything that you're doing. I totally get that, guys. Somebody said, congrats on 500K. Yeah. I'm pumped up about it. You can't tell on my face. I don't have that joyful face necessarily. Yeah, right. I got teeth, right? My teeth, right? But I'm just not a big. But I appreciate you guys. Like, I wouldn't be here without you guys. So everything that I do on YouTube is really to help other people, and you guys have helped me and helped motivate me by becoming a subscriber, turning on your notifications, and just participating when we do these lives. Back in 2023, beginning of 2023, I would do lives, just so you know, just for people that are interested. If you want to do a YouTube channel, I started off really on Facebook Live, and I started doing Facebook Live so I could understand how to talk to the camera and not be nervous when I talk to the camera, and how to pronunciate and all that good stuff. And so I started off doing lives on Facebook with 1 and 2 people in the room. But guess what? I was working my butt off with them 1 or 2 people in the room. I was giving them everything I got. And when I went to do lives on YouTube and I had 5 and 10 people in the room, I'm giving you everything I got with 5 or 10 people in the room, because I just believe that the message has been the same the whole 4 or 5 years since I've been on YouTube. My message has not changed. Everything is the same, right? Just that, that's just who I am, and what I talk about, it has to be authentic and genuine. But if you are a person that wants to learn how to do YouTube, or you want to learn how to do real estate, or you want to learn how to manage tenants, or you want to learn how to invest, that's what I'm here to help you guys out with. I can't really narrow down what I do with money because I do so much with it. Thank you so much, Gabe Ayala. I think I got that name right. Gabe, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you more than you know. We got NYC checking in the house. Cat, what borough, is I say it right? What borough are you from, right? Is it what? Brooklyn, Flatbush? Is it the Bronx, the Boogie Down Bronx? Is it Queens, over off Queensbridge? Or is it Manhattan? Did I say it right? Manhattan, right? Can't say Manhattan. We're gonna say Manhattan, right? Let's see. Somebody said I'm in Detroit and trying to buy one of the properties that start at 1K. My contract says we can do everything for 30. How many should I invest? If you can buy a property for 1K, man, you need to get you about 10 of them things, right? Do your due diligence. Right? Make sure you buy them right and everything. But if you can get them for 1K, man, you need to go off with that. Thank you, Willie Wilo. I appreciate that. Let's see. You're my unofficial financial uncle. Appreciate your ADH Alchemy. I'm not sure what that means. France in the house. Good to have you. It must be like 5 in the morning in France. Good to have you here. Good sound advice in general, not rush. Thank you, Scott. Appreciate you, Scott Patterson. Congrats. You're like the smart uncle. Yep, Gabe, that's what I can be, man. Whatever you need, feel free to reach out to me. I also try to answer a lot of my questions and things that come up on YouTube comments, right? It is big. It is big. I'm learning that 500,000 subscribers is bigger than what I think it is. I'm just steady helping, doing what I can do to help out as many people as possible. Let's see here. Let's see. Started my YouTube channel last year, up to 500 subs. Boom. Let's go. Keep it rolling, man. Keep it rolling. Don't quit. The thing is this, when you do a channel like this and you're talking about things, you got to have a passion that is beyond the money, because you got to do about 100, 200 videos, 300 videos before the money even gets there. And if you're doing it for the money, you're going to quit when the money ain't there. But if you hang in there and you do it for more, that you got to find a purpose and a mission beyond money, you're going to keep going. And ultimately, you do the right things and you help enough people, the money will be there. I guarantee you. Boulder, Colorado in the house, near the Rocky Mountains. Let's see, 2 a.m. in France. Okay, can't get no sleep. All right. Let's see here. Appreciate you guys. I appreciate the positivity you guys bring in the chat as well, man, because I don't like the negativity, as you guys can tell. I like to keep things real positive. And every now and then you get a knucklehead in the chat. And that's okay. We don't mind knuckleheads. We just swoop them right out. 41 years old, 315K invested in the stock market. What do you think? I think that's great. But guess what, Wallet Invest? I don't know how much your debt is. If you got 315,000 in the stock market, but you got 250,000 in debt, not good. But if you got 315 in the stock market and you ain't got no debt, wonderful, fantastic. So there's always various factors that go along with this thing, other than just how much money you got, right? I know people with $300,000 in the stock market and they are broke because they mismanage their money. They spend more than they make, et cetera, et cetera. They have no savings. They live for the day. They got to the Prada shoes, they got the Birkin purse, and they got the, they spend all this money and they look a certain way and they got $315,000 invested, but they ain't got no real money. See, we deal in real money on this channel. We don't deal in just what you got invested, because there's other variables that make it matter, or make it that are relevant. Let's put it like that, right? So hopefully you're doing pretty well with that 315,000 you got in the stock market, right? But I just appreciate you guys. So I don't want to belittle the point. I just wanted to come on here, guys, and have a conversation and say, look, man, if you're a new investor, or if you're almost new, or if you've been doing this 5, 6, 7 years and you're not quite, listen, don't be the person that doesn't diversify, got all their money wrapped up in one place. Don't be the person that diversifies way too much and just spread themselves thin and think and mistake activity for money, or activity for being a good investor, or activity for being smart with money. You don't have to be. I got a video coming out this Sunday, guys. It's talking about you want to keep this thing as simple as possible. And I'm going to go into a lot of detail in that video. So do me a favor and check that video out. Again, let me see what we got here. Man, I like being with you guys so much. I just jumped back on. Alvira's still in the house. Let's see. Yeah, Alvira, hit me up. Let's have join the VIP or get your one-on-one financial mentoring and coaching, Alvira, and I'll help you out for sure. I put as much, passion into helping people one-on-one as I do on these lives, right? What about investing in silver? Silver's cool, but make it a small part of your portfolio, right? Don't have 80% of your money in silver. I don't mind you having a little bit of silver, a little bit of gold, a little bit of crypto. That's fine, but just you ain't got to do derivatives and, and margin calls and day trade. And then we're getting too much, right? Got my emergency fund first, started investing after I get a lot sorted out. Okay, 38 years old, now's the time to get going, ASAP, right? Don't delay. What more can I do to make it happen more appealing and I get good application? Chenda, you got to hit me up, Chenda. I think it's Chenda. Hit me up, right? We can talk about it. Southwest Florida's in the house. Good to have you on the left coast of Florida. Listen, guys, all I want to do right here, guys, is say, hey, listen, I appreciate you guys more than you know. Thank you for being here. Let me know in the comments or the chat if I need to do more of these lives. Let me know. I can do more of them where we talk about specific things. I just thought I'd do a little Q&A at the end of this live. But listen, I'm here for you. Drop a comment in the section below, in the comment section below. Give me a thumbs up. Don't leave here without giving me a thumbs up, and let me know that you enjoyed the video, you enjoy the lives. And hey, that type of reinforcement is what keeps me going. Right? Just been busy, haven't been able to do a lot of lives. But listen, hit me up. Don't forget to hit the link. I'm going to put a bunch of stuff in the description box here in a second. But hit the link in there if you're looking for a solid one that shocked me. I'm shocked over Moo. Hit that link below. And if you got a question, drop it. Let me know and I'll do my best to answer it, guys. I appreciate you more than you know. And as I always say, the absolute best person on the planet that's going to take care of that old you who's 75 and 80 years old and you need to eat. Your 75 or 80-year-old self, you need to buy a pair of jeans. That 75, 80-year-old person, you got to still pay for your lights, water, and gas and the roof over your head. The best person who's going to take care of that person, that old you, is the young you. The you today, right? Take good care of yourself and take care of other people. Until the next video, peace.